Imagine a world where a single drop of blood could unlock the secrets of your health. No more needles, no more anxiety, just a tiny prick of the finger, and you'd gain access to over 1,000 medical tests. This was the mesmerizing dream Elizabeth Holmes sold to investors, doctors, and patients alike. It was a vision so compelling that it catapulted her to the pinnacle of fame and fortune. But behind the sleek facade of her billion-dollar company, Theranos, lay a dark and shocking secret.
Theranos has introduced a new blood testing device called Mini Lab at a medical conference in Philadelphia.
I'd like to see a world in which every person gets access to this type of basic testing.
The downfall of disgraced Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes has come to an end.
Theranos CEO Elizabeth Holmes described the technology as the beginning of the next phase of the company.
He sold a promise that a single finger prick would overhaul blood testing.
A jury yesterday found former Theranos CEO Elizabeth Holmes guilty on...
Born on February 3, 1984, in Washington, D.C., Holmes was an imaginative child with a knack for invention. Raised by a U.S. government aid worker and a congressional committee staffer, she grew up in Washington, D.C. and Houston. From a young age, Holmes was determined to change the world. After enrolling at Stanford University in 2002, she quickly made a name for herself, securing a coveted spot in the lab of renowned chemical engineering professor Channing Robertson. During a Stanford-facilitated trip to Beijing, Holmes befriended Ramesh Sunny Balwani, a man who would later play a pivotal role in her rise and fall. After working at the Genome Institute of Singapore, she became fascinated with medical diagnostics, leading her to patent a wearable device for monitoring medication efficacy. In 2003, Holmes dropped out of Stanford to pursue her entrepreneurial dream. She founded Theranos, a company that promised to revolutionize blood testing. With her distinctive black turtlenecks and deep voice, Holmes meticulously crafted her image, drawing comparisons to Apple's Steve Jobs. Investors were captivated, pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into Theranos, and by 2014, Holmes was named the youngest self-made female billionaire by Forbes. Theranos' technology was promoted as groundbreaking.
I'm talking about Theranos. That's the diagnostics company with the ultra-fast finger prick blood testing technology that's aiming to upend the entire traditional healthcare establishment by making it easier, less expensive, and much less uncomfortable for you to get tested for a whole range of conditions. For the last few years, Theranos has been viewed as a revolutionary company. CEO has been heralded as next Steve Jobs.
Holmes claimed it could run over 1,000 tests on just a few drops of blood. This technology was not only poised to disrupt the $75 billion lab testing industry, but also to make healthcare more accessible and less invasive. Theranos partnered with Walgreens, and the company's valuation skyrocketed to $9 billion. Behind the scenes, however, things were not as they seemed. Theranos operated under a veil of secrecy, and Holmes, alongside her partner Sunny Balwani, maintained a tight grip on the company's operations. Employees were kept in the dark, working on isolated projects with little understanding of the bigger picture. In 2015, the cracks in Theranos' facade began to show. Whistleblowers Erica Chung and Tyler Schultz, grandson of Theranos board member and former U.S. Secretary of State George P. Schultz, noticed irregularities and tampering with test results. They took their concerns to the Wall Street Journal, leading journalist John Carey-Rue to investigate. His explosive article revealed that Theranos' flagship device, the Edison machine, was a sham, producing unreliable results for only a fraction of the tests it claimed to run. Carey-Rue's investigation revealed shocking truths. The Edison machine, the cornerstone of Theranos' technology, was not capable of performing the vast array of tests Holmes claimed. In reality, most tests were conducted using standard commercial machines from other companies, and the few tests run on the Edison were plagued with inaccuracies. Holmes, who had built her empire on promises of innovation, was now facing a reality where her technology didn't work as advertised. The pressure and secrecy within Theranos had already taken a tragic toll. Ian Gibbons, the company's chief scientist, had struggled with the ethical implications of Holmes's demands and the inaccuracies of their technology. In 2013, overwhelmed by the pressure, Gibbons took his own life, a haunting reminder of the human cost of Theranos' deception. As Carey-Rue's findings gained traction, Regulatory bodies like the FDA and CMS launched their own investigations. They found numerous compliance issues, including Theranos' refusal to subject its devices to proper scientific review and their failure to provide accurate and reliable data. The house of cards Holmes had built was beginning to collapse. In March 2018, the SEC charged Holmes and Balwani with massive fraud, accusing them of deceiving investors about the capabilities of Theranos' technology. The charges outlined how Holmes and Balwani had misled investors, doctors, and patients, raising over $700 million based on false promises. Holmes settled the charges by paying a fine and surrendering her control of the company, but the damage was done. In June 2018, both Holmes and Balwani were indicted on multiple counts of wire fraud. Holmes stepped down as CEO, and later that year, Theranos shut its doors for good. The trial of Elizabeth Holmes began in August 2021, a media spectacle that captured the world's attention. The prosecution presented a damning case, showcasing how Holmes knowingly misled investors and patients. The defense tried to paint Holmes as a visionary who simply failed, but the evidence was overwhelming. In January 2022, Holmes was found guilty on 4 counts of fraud. Balwani faced similar charges and was also convicted. In November 2022, Holmes was sentenced to over 11 years in prison. The young entrepreneur who once stood at the pinnacle of Silicon Valley's elite was now facing a starkly different future. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Scam Sagas. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories of deception and intrigue. Until next time, stay vigilant and question the extraordinary.